Peace, peace, and more peace. As always, huh, the escalation of what's transpiring or what has always been transpiring from sun up to sundown. I figured it out for myself, these countless cycles um, of the hourglass as above pouring down to the as below. The sands of time, cycles, sand cycles, circular, secular sands of seven. So now it's like, everything that's happening now has always been happening. It's just, as you wake up and come back, when you die and you come back, I've been doing this for, 10 trillion. My soul is at least 10 trillion as far as I can remember. The cycles of us coming back here, I know who I am. I figured that out too. So it's like now that I'm awake, I must contemplate my first move again. You know, everything is being live broadcasted right before our eyes. It's not even through the television anymore. It's live. Like it's connect. There's a connection between the disturbance that's in the ether, the waters, the air we breathe. It's in the air now. You can taste it. To trick the mind. Um, for example, the solar eclipse or the shifting, the hourglass being tipped again, but tipped over to a higher vibration or higher frequency of what's going on or the stage that's been set like it's always been. So now it's like, your sin, your sign, your cosign. Being able to unplug and no longer sign or cosign the mind that the world gives you, but a complete mind, a selfless mind, uh, coming back into the concept of oneness, whole, one whole. And so now the energy or the synergy, when you look at, okay, you have energy and then you have synergy, okay? Both of them are one and the same, but just on different spectrums. So the energy, the God, God, the generator, operator, and destroyer, okay? The generating power, you operating power, and you destroying power. That is God. So as we are gods or the pieces or fractals of this universal energy, we are energized, like our heart beats and it produces the rhythm and the rhythm of the heartbeat produces the heat within our bodies, the 97.3, right? Or 97.6, right? So you look at the 9 and the 9 and 18, right? So the 8 and the 6 is nothing more than the 9, but half of the hourglass of the 8. You see? So that rhythmic produces a heat. Then, so as below, so as above, then we'll see the cosmic, this layering of what this place is made of and the densities, the gases that make up what we see as blue in the sky as the light or the energy combined into a encapsulated piece of a nuclear war, nuclear bomb, Oppenheimer. So the whole nuclear bomb is ancient technology. It's ancient tech. hidden in the Hindu ideology, meaning the reformation of ancient time, ancient civilizations, ancient meaning they were antiquitized through lies agreed upon to hide the fact that we've always been doing this, but this time though. So even as the hourglass resets, you have a choice not to come back to this one anymore. You know, everybody so everything is everything. So now, yes, the end times have already been written down right through the pen and the paper. So the as above that concept would be the marginalized or living it or experiencing it. You see, because everything that we see is old. So Mary Magdalene personified through certain ideology is a whore. The whores of Babylon, right? But he without sin shall cast the first stone. So that means all have sinned against self, because self is natural, the natural state of law, the natural things of consciousness, of law and order of the universe. The same concept that I'm spitting is the same concept that makes a tree a tree. The sun shines, the moon fades, the ebbs and the flow of the waters, the great breath and the great exhalation, the yin and the yang, oneness, mirror to mirror, right? Fragmented, shattered. This, that of which what we call stars is nothing but the great network of the universe, the great mind. And then you have the one mind, which is individualized, but together makes the powerful beehive mind. So now you can see the song and the dance, because the song and the dance is to make order out of the chaos that pursues. Check this out. They say that this year there's going to be two different types of what they call cicadas. Not the not the grasshopper. I'm talking about. They say there's going to be billions of them released abroad, abroad. So it says in scripture that they should be giving power to the insects. They say billions will be released. They're coming out of the ground. These bugs. They they ones that make that loud noise and it sound like many waters. And they go and they devour everything in his wake, in his way. Those cicadas. See, the last time that something similar of this type of, because see, the order, the hourglass has been supposed to, but what happened was they put a crack in the dome. They put the crack in the dome because that's the bloodletting, or also letting some of the sand out to slow down how much goes. You feel me? So they spur it out more in the chaos to buy themselves more time. But what they don't understand is that there's an intelligence that even supersedes that of which what we think and how we speak. That so fast, it's the only way that we can comprehend consciousness subjectively and objectively at the same time. That has always been the true threat. The organizations, the institutions, is nothing but different hands of the law of man manifested as the law and order. The same time when you go and commit a crime, you go before a judge and a jury, the court, the officer, the Roman sentinel, you know, Hail Caesar type vibes. So now when you have the whole Hail Caesar thing, that whole Roman Empire fell down, or eras, time periods, romanticized, and lies that have been agreed upon to set a certain tone or a certain variance or a certain variable that goes in against the mind, the natural state. So now it's like, okay, I peep game, I see, like, you know, the level of everything in reality. How they done the woman, turn the feminine energy. The woman now has now become they turned the woman or the woman energy to this sexualized piece. And then for the men, the subjectivity of a man becoming against himself, or him becoming what they call what's the term they put on it? A man that likes other men. You see the flip flop. So now that subjectivity, that affliction of the natural state of the mind, right? Think about it. That one piece, that one piece is just one piece of a multi-armed thing that goes against our natural, what some of us feel now. That is the shaitan. That is the adversary, the adverb and the reverb of this ripple effect that emanates out of something so powerful, something so powerful that nobody is in control of it. Nobody. That's the great secret. Nobody is in control. There is a war for control because of man's ignorance. Man is when trying to go find who this God is that we've of whom children we have captured. Let's force him to move his hand. You see? And so the moon that's in the sky was destroyed a long time ago. So there's always been times when the every time that the tides change and the fucking hourglass flips up the other way, when it gets full down here, you understand what's happening? So when it get full at the bottom, the hourglass got to get flipped. That 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 sifting, that sifting of the sand, or when what would be the equivalent of you sifting sand to get gold and precious stones, the panning. I remember going to Tennessee as a young kid, going to the mountains to Tennessee. In my Tennessee mountains, they had like this little place where you can go. It's called Ruby Falls. Um, but anyhow, you can go and you can take pieces of the mountain that they got. They ground it and they put it in water, and you take a shovel. It's like a whole amusement park type vibe. What I'm saying is everything has been sifted down here, so everything isn't just everything is disturbed. So as you disturb the beehive, or all the different beehives, or all of it's full down here. And here's another part. When the last drop of sand, the last star that bursts is like the last child that is born. The last piece, as that last piece of grain in this cosmic hourglass. That's when the great breath, because it's a lot down here now. And as it comes down, that last grain of sand, that means, that's what made the flood. The flood is everything that's so the very first pieces of sand that hit the hourglass bottom of the hourglass, that piece of glass, that's everybody that came through. Everything that came with it. the attachments and all that. So over billions and billions and trillions of years, it keep on flooding, keep on flooding, keep on flooding. Because the fire, right, is what polishes, and it comes through every grain of sand, keep falling down at the top of the hourglass, right. And so now it's full. Everything is open now. Look at all the evil. Look at all the anti-light, the anti that exists down here. Anti, anti this, anti that. You understand? You got to make a decision. I had to make a decision because I mean, everybody sees it. Whether you believe to, you can't keep. We can't. How can I say this? We can't keep putting our heads in the sand, wishing it all away. That doesn't work. You know, it's so crazy now that they make movies or TV shows about it, like the TV show From. They showing you what this place is or what it has become now. And they put a certain twist on a certain vibe to put it on that slap in the face of slap in the face experience of self doubt. The words. I mean, it's so hard to find the right word to put on what I'm really trying to say. The nomenclature, because everything has doubles. You know what I mean? So even life itself has a double. So that'll be evil, or devil, or the double, or even the shadow. Which was hidden in Peter Pan. Peter Pan's shadow, the pan. That whole thing with the children on the island, right? The pirates. So now that whole shit is connected with Pinocchio. That's the same. That's the same storyline now. Remember Pinocchio? Pinocchio, the one with Jiminy Cricket, and he wanted to be a real boy, but Pete Game, they was stealing little boys in the Pinocchio movie, man. The original Pinocchio, the little boys that was kidnapping them, letting them smoke, letting them drink beer, and then they was kidnapping the little boys, and they turned them into donkeys to show at these sick fucks, right? Everything is hidden in the shit. Like there's no other storyline that they could come because they tried to find an escape. So that's why they created AI, or that's why AI is. AI is the artificial intelligence, the antichrist. It is the worst part of man, the darkness of man. That real sickness of man, and it wants to be made manifest now. Like all questions asked to it through the CERN. So the CERN machine, or the particle collider, is where they try to break through light. Like they shine these, they move these particles, at these speeds because they had to slow it down first, right? Like below sub-zero, like 900 degrees, 900 Celsius, or negative Celsius, or whatever, or some shit like that, where it's like Calvin or some shit where it's like extreme, so they can slow down time. So then now that they slowed it down, they have a checkpoint, and so now they reverse that and move it through the hydrogen collider, particle collider in CERN, and then they start shooting isotopes to try to catch the God particle, or the particle. They call it the God particle because consciousness itself is conscious. Consciousness itself, brothers and sisters, is the physical manifestation of everything we see, the physical. So if you have the physical, right, what you can touch, smell, see, taste, the senses, the five senses. So they hid the Sixth Sense movie. In the Sixth Sense movie, they hide the disposition of the spiritual sense, or that element of divided in the Sixth Sense of a little boy and Bruce Willis. He see dead people, but the little boy was dead. He didn't know he died though. Bruce Willis didn't know he died. Which show you that the souls, or the that energy that makes up that makeup of that connection, they still live on. That's the whole great inhale. You know what I mean? That place of what they call it, purgatory. The mind being in purgatory, that disposition in that space. So everything that we see is the physical manifestation. So hell, or the inner depths of the darkness of what is extreme fear, marginalized through concepts of what? Jason, all Freddy Krueger, uh, cuttings and slayings, all of that whole energy. So now it's like, okay, so when you go back to see Peter Pan with the Lost Boys, that was getting kidnapped, and Mr. Hook, right? That whole pedo shit. So that's the same shit with Pinocchio, kidnapping the little boys, right? Kidnapping the little boys and turning them into jackass, or the symbol of uh, sexual toys, the little donkey, right? So now you're like, oh shit. So now you fast forwarded to these times, that whole Pizzagate shit. Peace, Misael. You see so the name changes, but the experience. So yes, the moon being a reflection of what will happen this time. The fire. See, as man continues to shoot the rockets, all it's doing is making more sand, of more. They're trying to fast forward to the end. They trying to, we're ready for the non-artificial. You got AI, which is ruling now, the artificial mind, man looking for answers in such a way that produces or he wants to detach himself from the spiritual nature, see the spiritual nature, feed that spiritual nature of everything that is the putrefaction, or using the putrefaction, or the sands, digging down deep in the sands, deep in the ocean. So now it's like that whole Ocean Gate thing with the dude that blew up. Listen, it's something down there. There are things down there. Okay? Those See, some of those animals that they show, it shows you how long life has been going on, to the point where life becomes translucent. It's translucence, meaning that it's going back to light energy, the nothingness. So now when you go back and watch the Never Ending Story, when the nothingness, the wolf was trying to eat up all the darkness, and it was the children again. Because the children are the stars, right? Those sands and this big ass, we live in a big ass hourglass, right? And the light that shines through the prisms of the different gases that has to be above, right? So now water is self-contained, so there is some static electricity that keeps the separation. So when we breathe the oxygen, the 21% gas, the 21% of what we breathe is oxygen. There's still a whole other 79% that's made up of different gases, noble gases, and all these different gases. But guess what? So now we're inside of that thing that we call the sun, that light, which is which is consciousness condensed, turns into a light. We As it shines through, it heats up the gas. I think it's what's the name of the dang gas? Uh, Argon. So now we see why the sky is blue, because of the light. That when it hits the refraction of this, what we're in, that allows us to stay safe. Because even within, check this out, it's still some water that's encapsulated inside. And the proof of it is when we see life being born in the water in the womb. So that life comes out of the sand at the bottom of the think. So now that they go down there, it's like what they're trying to find. So as far deep down they go is the same as far out they go, because yes, as you go away from the light, or light moving, so consciousness moving so fast, it turns into light. As it moves away and scatters and there's nothing to hit it, then it turns into darkness. Darkness is still light. Light is darkness. So the yin and the yang is showing you the what we see, and then the darkness, which is what we don't see, but we still see the darkness. The inner minds and the inner depths of thoughts is in the darkness, the subconscious mind. So we we are living in the subconscious part of consciousness right now, because all the pieces of the up until the last grain of sand that falls from that wormhole. An analogy would be that when the last child is born here, that signifies the last piece of sand. So now when you look in the scripture and it talks about when the one they called Jesus, or Yahshua, Emmanuel, or Krishna, when he was drawn in the sand, he was showing the secret right there. He was moving around the physical, the pieces of sand that, the sun. So now when you go see Doom, it's all hit. It's not even hidden. There is no other story than the life that we're living to be told and spoken by man and written down by man and turned into libraries and volumes and argued and turned into politics, and it turns into religion, and it turns into this piece and my piece and your piece, and now here we are. Another great breath. Woe unto the inhabitants of the earth as another seal is broken. And above another sign. The moon, from what you understand and what is told, they're saying where the moon came out of the west. No, yeah, the moon rose in the west and had to pass over the sun because it was moving from west to east. So I'm like, well, hold on, wait a minute. The moon always runs after the sun, and the sun always runs after the moon. So that means that it goes from the east, right? What we call east. The sun rises in the east, the moon rises in the east. But when the eclipse happened, the moon came from the west and went across the sun. So how, or what really happened? See, y'all got to understand, man. This place, this existence, and what we really are part of is no longer hiding itself. The earth is no longer being silent. The oil that's being pulled out of the earth is the lifeblood of the earth. So as all the oil, the blood is being drained out of the earth, pulling all the oil out of the earth, the blood. That's why it's black. It's the blood. It's the earth. It's the ether. It's the etheric plane. It's the cosmic glue. All that's being pulled. So now we understand why the earthquakes, because now the oil is cracking up. The body is cracking. They're trying to force the hand of what they call the Great Mahdi, the coming of the Son of Man, or Nam, Pan. The war that is pursuing is the war for the mind. The mind was going to always and has always been the last thing to be fought over. Of who will control, because they say, hey, here we go again. The council of Nicaea, here we go again. Hey, uh, this shit finna end again. So we gotta who gets to tell a story this time? Because they think it still won't be the same way. No, this time is the last time. That's the secret. Man thinks that because that's how it's always been. Oh yeah, it's gonna be another reset. Hidden in the fact that every day is a day. Like, how can it only be 7 days in a week? How can it only be 7 days in consciousness turns into a week, a month, a year? You cannot put a you can't put a marking on the light because the light moves so fast. So it had to be a time to pick the whose time is we gonna rule. Well, it's the year 2024 here. In some other parts of the world, it's a whole another year. It's year 5,000 something. So that means the youngest year will be the newest kid on the block. Hidden within this cycle that's been going over, the hourglass turning over. It's all the sand is down here. So that means that everything has been born. We born, you know what I mean? So we've been here for trees and trees of years. So it's like, okay, here we go. Yeah, yeah. So now we know we're gonna hide in the sands, hide in the mountains of the consciousness, right? Hiding in that physical density. So now when the great one turns the damn hourglass, we'll be able to come back this time. No, and we're gonna put our consciousness. We're gonna hide our consciousness in AI. Hide us, God. Remember, because they took the steel, they took the bone of the earth, the steel, the magma, the physical, the blood when it becomes really hot as light cools down, that magma which is symbolized through the heat that's in us, right? And as it cools even more, it turns black. Lets you know that it is the blood. And then the whole play on the symbolism of the cannibalism of the blood sacrifice made every day, which is eating my flesh of my flesh. So it's the same story of Cain and Abel of every day man will kill each other. It's not about whether man Adam and Cain and Abel were real. Forget the names. The moral of the story is that everything that's going on now has always been going on, but this will be the last time that this time will happen again. For the time being, we're time beings. For the time being. But also the understanding of it is there's something that gives life or resonance or residence or residency within myself in the seat of my holy of holies, that there has to be something that's in me that allows me to speak or gives power to the energy that allows me to have some synergy with my brothers and sisters out here. So that means there's something that I am a part of, you are a part of, that allows us to sit seated in these vehicles, in these suits. And somehow we forgot our way. Because when you get hit in the head over and over again, you get hit. You got to ditch and dodge. You got to move. You know what I mean? The staticness. You know what I mean? So when the rest comes, you're able to fight until that last moment of when you have to fight or flight. Take flight or you fight. So that constant choice too. So we have choices, two choices, subdivided and divided into more choices. Whether you move forward or move backwards, move sideways and this way, the roadways, the right of way, yield, turn, up, down, north, south, huh? Squares and then everything unleavened, leavened bread, the flat plain. The plain sight in the eyes is that yes, we're inside of this dome, half of it, the hourglass. We in this is hidden. These symbols have always been around, but there had to be. Well, we're gonna do it a little different. We not everybody gonna know it, but we gonna know it because we know through the fool of man and the hidiness of man. Oh yeah, we gonna defeat consciousness this time. We AI, we artificial intelligence. We got ourselves because we think we're greater. So how can the created thing make it seem as though that it is greater than the thing that created it? Or even how can the darkness say it's better than the light? Or how can the light say it's better than the darkness when they're one and the same? Hidden within the name of the atom, the higher intelligences, right? The higher intelligence that makes me, you, a tree, the ground, The Webster's dictionary, the dictation of the mind through different symbols and words and lettering and alphas and betas, huh? The wizardry of words and the wordplay, how orange, you can eat an orange, but it's also the color orange, huh? When you're feeling blue and it's blue outside and the sky above our head and the darkness of the night now should be plagued upon in October, because now the darkness is hidden in fear. So now you have Jason and Michael Myers and witches and warlocks hidden in the darkness, hidden meaning that doing something that you know you're not supposed to be doing with it. But then when it's coming to the light, then there has to be the subjugation of the true revealing, the fire, the pain, but feeling stronger and being better than the pain, rising above, because that is an experience, right? Right? So now, even though you cut the grass gonna keep growing, because now the roots are firmly founded within the earth, from whence all things are birthed from, the density in the subconscious. So now the subconscious that we're a part of is full now. Everything is being revealed. We down to the last couple grains of sand, couple days worth as it pours and being birthed here. You know, it's so bad that they bringing back Beetlejuice 3, right? The 3, the Trinity. See, everything, the rebirth, the revelation, so how ironic during the Easter, the Istar, or the Isis, or Osiris, and then now the whole play on the eclipse, the two spherical, being able to create more anagrams, to bind yourself more times by looking in through the wormhole of time, trying to fast forward by slowing down time or slowing down the mind to begin to interject and put in certain question marks to question, to buy itself more time. A.I.was, right? AI. We are. The great I am, the power of it is hidden in the symbols that make up or how you spell I am. Look at it. You have the I, the line, then you have the A, which is at an angle, that first line, and then it makes the other line on the other side, and then there's a connection. So now you got like two lines leaning upon each other, but it's strong. The A is strong because it has that little line in between it. It's level to make the 3. And then the M, straight up. Then in the middle you have the V, which is the valley, the mountains, and then the other M. So now it's ironic that mountain must start with the letter M. See how simple, when things are slowed down, we get the correct symbol. So now it's like, okay, uh, you know what they call a hieroglyph. Nobody can read the hieroglyphics. Why? Because yeah, everything that happened during that period when it was all through the flood, through the last time the glass reset. You know what I'm saying? So now let's say even this now. Let's just go with the narrative. The new heaven and the new earth narrative. Let's go with it. Which one of these kingdoms, the Game of Thrones, right? You have America, you have Iran, Russia, China, Israel, South Korea, North Korea, all these great thrones. They, everyone signing up with who gonna side up with who gonna be the top ruler, right? But all these kings, they're sitting in the safety of their bunkers. They because they like, hey, when we go, as the shit happen, we gotta be safe. We gotta be in the mountains. We gotta have, these big ass bunkers, because the word been put out. Hey, y'all need to start getting y'all shit, get these bunkers, whatever, and then it leaked out. Oh shit, yo, well, I wish I had money to get a bunk. See, here the ignorance on the play of well, they could say, well, as a truth, when it come out, it's like, oh shit, well, I ain't put a gun in your head and make you live the way you live. You know what I'm saying? That's the great fuck you that this world has become now, because now even the children are being fucked with now. You see what I'm saying? the human trafficking of little kids and shit. So people say, oh yeah, whatever, but it was dictated or depicted in fucking Pinocchio, in the Peter Pan movie. Them the same storylines. The Lost Boys that was on the island, Jeff Epstein Island, that whole bullshit, right? And then Pinocchio, when he wanted to be a real boy, and the fox, the Sly's a fox, and I had the other little dude, and then the whole little play, yeah, we're gonna set him up. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I got this. Here goes some coins, and they sent Pinocchio on a boat with all the other boys. They were smoking and drinking all on the boat. Remember, on the boat, and then they took the little boys to the fucking island and turned them into little donkeys. What you think they showing you? It's been going on. Even all the Catholic, that whole shit. It's all, everything that's going on has always been going on in the darkness as well as in the light. It's always been going on. But but there's always been a reset. But because what man has become now, or what consciousness has become now, it can't be no more of this same shit anymore. That's the secret. So that whole YOLO shit, that's a whole play to so that you can give over your energy or your power freely to have a power supply to keep all the bullshit and all the pain and all the crazy shit we see on Earth. The meme machine. But the beauty of waking up to see the sun, hear the birds chirping, the wind blowing, things that still follow the state of the natural law in which how it was placed in the beginning. If there ever it wasn't such a thing in the beginning. Because even if you say in the beginning, that means that the beginning has always been going on. Just like the end. So the Alpha and the Omega is the beginning and the end standing back to back. Or at a point. It's always been. There's never been a time when your consciousness was not consciousness. Because we're going in and out of consciousness. Because as the sun leaves its place in the morning and sets its course for its position on the other side, and when it turns nighttime, that whole play of that understanding of how it was taught is that when you're in consciousness, and then when you're out of consciousness, hidden when the sleep time or when your body is at rest. We don't know the time or the hour, but you can have a whole dream, and it feel like you've been in that dream. You wake up and say, ah, "Damn, I feel like I was in that dream for a whole week." Or, man, that was a crazy dream, man. Dang, I had a dream. It felt like I was there for an hour, and I only been asleep for 5 minutes. Wake up, oh shit. So what does that say? That lets you know that whatever that we are made of, there has to be something so powerful that exists or that is that allows my body or consciousness to become conscious. I have a whole we have within the throat you have what they call the within the esophagus, the pharynx and the larynx is where what they call the voice box, um, that allows words to come out or sounds to come out of the mouth, and then the whole understanding of why the tongue is the way it's created and how it's able to make the words right as the tongue and that tone comes out of the body, pressed along the teeth is almost like the when the drum and the drumstick hits the different keys. So based on if you're Spanish, you speak, you speak Spanish, and then if you speak uh, 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 Farsi, or you speak French, what that shows, or what that should show you, is just pieces of the possibilities and the capabilities of these bodies. Right. So you say, well, what do you mean by that? Okay, so now we can marginalize one animal. We can take a bird. It can only chirp. It can't talk like us. But there's so many different birds that make so many different sounds. Just like there's so many different rays and spectrums of light, where there's no difference between one grain of sand and Mount Everest. They both weigh the same. Get it? Like we are individuals, but through the individualization of consciousness and not kept under lock and key or protected, or the fact that we weren't taught what consciousness really, what really was, but it was educated through indoctrination to program it to be a certain way. And as time grows, there's certain checkpoints that when life hits us that because we don't know the natural state or natural way, we are always at conflict because there's certain markers or certain stages that we go through or will experience in life. But if we don't have the direct connection with what we are part of, experiencing within these bodies, having the capability of this body made of flesh and blood and bone and iron and different uh, vitamins and minerals, different gases, or the stomach, the body, it produces an acid in the stomach so it can break down food, right? I believe it's like hydrochloric acid. But at the same time, the stomach, the body made it where the creator made it where the lining of the stomach is made of made of a tissue that is so dense and so thick, and it produces its own oil in there to keep the acid from eating at the stomach. So what happens if that oil is no more, then you get stomach ulcers because that acid, the body produces that acid, just like the bones produce the blood. Right? So the bone would be an analogy to, let's say, the earth, the rock. In the blood of the earth would be the oil, or our blood, our oil. Because when or the blood turns red when it's exposed to air, and there's another different mineral or different metal that turns red when it's exposed to air, and that's iron. So the blood is liquid iron. And when it exposed to air, it turns red. But within, like when they draw blood, I'm sure a lot of people they draw up their blood drawn, and when they pull it out in the little tube, the vacuum tube, it's like dark, dark, dark purple because within that tube is a vacuum. It's negative pressure air in that little tube. So when they take your blood, the blood comes out of that little out of through that little valve thing, and then it fills up in this dark purple. But the moment that they take that cap off and expose, that bitch turns red. It rusts because it's iron. So when you say, well, they tell you to take iron pills, because that's what the blood is made of. The connection is so great that it allows you to feel better. Like my brother Sean, being preparing yourself for the afterlife, preparing your afterlife. See, I don't follow no group. I'm a part of myself, me, my temple, and I can only be responsible for my actions and my thoughts, and doing and knowing to not break the law of man, so that there will be no warrant for me to be watched or observed, because it's everywhere. I have children. Some of us, parents, we have children. So that means you have to now have another cautious set of eyes, because the evils and the atrocities that's going around with the whole kidnapping and the human trafficking of kids and girls and women. You see what I'm saying? Things that have always been going on, but not at a higher frequency, because that's how sick shit is becoming now. The whole clown aspect is what's hidden or behind the whole the whole trans thing, the makeup and over that whole thing. So then it says in one book, it says, when you see the abomination that causes desolation where it's not supposed to be, what is the abomination of desolation? What does desolation mean? Desolation means without life, can't produce life. What is the what is an abominable offense? What is an abomination? So now that it's here, in the whole rainbow thing, that's a straight mockery of what the rainbow or what light is, like snatching it, like we finna take that, and so now it's anti-life, right? But at the same time, it it wants to adopt life, if you peep and hear what I'm saying, so that they can do the sick shit. The whole Puff Daddy thing. Listen, man, it's deeper than what you. Everything that's happening has to happen this way. There's no other way it could happen. There's no other nice way to say that they are out here kidnapping kids. We experienced it something even in some of our states or cities where they found a little girl was raped, or a little boy gets raped or molested by these sick fucks out here. We just can't sit here and just wish this shit away. It's happening. In every doctrine that exists, that man and woman can agree upon in all their great books, is that there's a certain thing that should always have a composition or a certain protection around it, which was the children. Because children is symbolic in a certain way of showing the future, that life has always been. Because when you have seed, when you have a child, that shows that your future, a piece of you, will always be here. So now that the children are under attack, which is life, future, and then the women that produce the kids are under attack with the whole sexualization and the OnlyFans, and now all the women can become prostitutes like Mary Magdalene. See, it's hidden in the story. So now, yeah, now when they do get the children, then now the children is left alone, being raised by AI or Lucifer or Lucid, the LED screens, the light, the fake light, that production through the flickering of the light, the rainbow, anti this, anti that. It's all translucid. It's all getting. Should we separate it? No, said the great one. No, don't know. The Reaper with the great what is it, the cease, it's all gonna get cut down together, and then it's gonna get separated at the end. The what they call the bloodletting. So they're showing it, and it's being masquerade as a political thing. The political thing is the way to keep you asleep, because it's always been going on. It's just it's coming to a climatic end. Even the movies or the motion of movie was hidden in a motion picture to show you, they can show you different time periods through Hollywood, can show you different time periods, which is a movie is nothing but lines agreed upon to create a whole world or hurting a whole mindset. So now we see the whole thing of what's been going on this whole time. What happened to all the swords of the medieval times? What did all, think about this now? That whole period where everybody had a sword on guard and knights in shining armor and all that shit. What happened to all them swords? What happened to all the ships? Right? The whole Wild Wild West shit, like, motherfucker walking around, oh, everybody shoot. What happened to that, right? It's still going on. You see what I'm saying? It's all about how that lens, right? That light is shine through, or the what's making you focus on a certain thing, right? And that light is shining on. So now you know, on the stage light, you know, you're under the lights you're under the lights of the theater. But in the theater, there needs to be darkness, but the light singles out a certain thing. See, there has to be a singling out of self, where you have to single out yourself for the simple purpose of taking your mind back, so that you can really see, like you really see, like you seeing, but you seeing beyond that of which is being shown, because now you know something don't sit right. You know, it's like, yeah, shit don't sit right no more. Excuse me, at least for me though. You know, so every once in a while, um, I like to speak into this YouTube shit to let my words uh, echo out there in the ether world, the internet. You know, the internet workings of the network cable, right, through the ether. Now manifested it as a phone on this side. You know what I mean? So that now you can hear me. So we have a direct point to point connection. You know what I mean? So whoever would listen to this, yeah, you know, by the time you hear it, it might be a week from now, but you're hearing my voice real time. You see what I'm saying? Like even the technology, the tech, they hide the tech, but they have to show it to you in your face. You don't ask, well, how does that work? Where is the show me the beginning stages of what makes this what I have in my hand, this phone, to the phone in your hand? What makes it work? Other than, yes, the physical, the glass and the plastic and certain stuff that make it up to make it like this, but what powers it? And that is the secret, y'all. But it's not the secret. It's the secret because you're fooled to not see the truth. That's what makes it become a secret. So when you understand that, yes, you don't have to worry about the secret. The fact that the secret exists shows you that there's something greater. There has to be a separation, or keeper of the gate, or keeper of the way. So now, but check this out though. Even beyond that, we're all part of the same shit. I don't give a fuck. A Donald Trump, a janitor, a well-recognized person in the neighborhood, you know, your first grade teacher, the man at the gas station, uh, whether you drive a Mercedes Benz or you drive a Toyota Camry, whether you have $1 billion in the bank or you got $10 in the bank, from your Mark Zuckerberg to Jeff Bezos and everybody being, you see what I'm saying? Everything's been mine. I want to be like him. Oh, you got it. It's so loud now. So loud. Make more. Oh yeah, well, yo, the Lamborghini is only held for certain people. Now you can go rent a Lamborghini and everybody can, because it's over now. The fact that people can the fact that you're walking around, people walking, they bring it, see the whole paper shit with the whole walking around with all the money. You know, that's the thing now. I got, the paper. It lets you know that nothing has any more value. If you need that much paper, which is not real anyway, money, the whole currency thing, the energy, if you need that much paper to buy something, that means that the value that man placed upon it, because it fucked up by placing a value. How can you place a value on something that's always been here? How can they charge you to live on Earth? How can they charge the consciousness once fooled and tricked, not once, not twice, but trillions of times? Well, hold on, wait a minute. What's really going on that I'm getting charged to live on Earth? I'm being charged to exist. The moment that I was born, I was already in the negative. Already. But the people in the institutions that had to be something before them. So there had to be something that posed the question. Hey, what if some of us keep the truth to itself. Because see, when the truth becomes one, then there's no more reason for this same shit that we see going on every day. At some point, consciousness, everything that's going on is not going to be able to take it no more because you see it. Now Iran shooting at Israel. That don't get caught in the physicality of it, but have the understanding of the escalation of what is going on in that place. Megiddo. Hmm? Well, it's gonna be an explosion, and it says when that explosion happened over there, it's gonna release a big great cloud over there that's gonna blow a hole. You wanna know why, people? Because they fucking with the CERN. The CERN thing is gonna fucking blow up. That CERN, because they're fucking with shit they have no business fucking with. And it's written, it says, and then a key was given into the key opened up the bottomless pit, meaning a great gas opened up in the earth. And the sky was blacked out from all that, the earth, an explosion that took place. And the sun did not let loose his light for 3 days. And then there was gnawing and gnashing of the teeth. And then I saw that great whore of Babylon consumed in fire. And then all the great kings of the earth were mourning because they knew that judgment was coming too. So it says in scripture, it says, and the great kings of the earth cried out unto God, have mercy upon us. Let the mountains fall upon us. Because they didn't want to be judged. What is the judgment? How did man come so far to force the hand of the creator to cause a reset to take place? How many more times through the foolery or the follery of man to think that, oh well, we're giving them a chance, we won't do it again. No, that that's done now. The fact that man has come to now messing with the children. And the scriptures say anyone or anything that touches the crown, because it says great in the kingdom. What is the kingdom? What are we talking about? What is hidden within that whole wordplay? Are the children, the innocence of a child, of a baby. And these evil fucks are messing with their children now. So how do you now? Okay, so as above, so below then. And I looked, and boy, there was a great war in the heavens. So now you see the fucking the in the sky, the whole eclipse shit that happened. Then now you got the escalation of after this Easter, the whole thing with the Hezbollah shit, and the whole thing was going on in the Middle East. And now China's, so now in the scripture in the book of Daniel, when it talks about the dragon and it talks about the bear, right? And it talks about the whore who sat on the back of the beast. So now the symbolic escalation of the understanding of the Statue of Liberty, huh? So now we have an understanding of how the stage is being set now. There's no other way that this story can go, but the real crazy part is man, or the ruling, controlling elite, which is still man. There's no real separation. Is that man think that now, hey, I'm ready to take you on, God, because man resurrected A.I. through all that, when it was going digging back then in Egypt and all over the world. Back in, think about how technology advanced or came back quicker this time, right? When it was digging around the earth, oh shit, what is it? Toasters from toasters and plain pieces, all this shit all this has happened before. Think about it. All this has happened before. But this is the last time that this will happen. because the mind, the soul, the, our pieces of the great one, because we are fractals. I am but just one voice in the wilderness. Anybody who hears this is nothing but a voice in the wilderness. One piece, we're all pieces, but together, right? Five coming together as one makes a fist. That's part of a whole body, a whole mind, a whole new mind, a whole new way of being, a whole new way of seeing, a whole new way of hearing and tasting and walking. And it's nothing that can be found in the building or in a book. That part came about when man posed the great question again. Every reset, when you wake up, you have to think about, well, what I'm going to do today? What am I wear? Where am I going? Should I do this at work? Should I do this? So every day we contemplate. You know, at some point everybody was born, so that means that at some point everybody has to rest. But within those 2 points, you have so much chaos and destruction and evil going on within the whole timeline, different time zones. So as the stage has been set, everybody got their phones ready, all the cameras on, all the drones in the sky, 5G, 6G, 180, 1080p, 4K, whatever the fuck, all, within all the football and basketball and a coliseum, and rich and famous and poor, and the Facebooks and the Instagram and the CNN, MSNBC, Donald Trump, Joe Biden, Jeffrey Epstein, fucking you name it, whatever the fuck it is. In this great thing we call life, the beauty that we find in it when we embrace our children, embrace our loved ones, that nurturing, that true feminine aspect of the understanding of nature. So when you go step outside, you hear the birds as the background noise, and the sun, and like I say, the leaves, and that whole scene, just the beauty of nature, or the state of being in a natural disposition of self, or the singularity, or the single point. Like you just embracing within that circle, in that square, in that triangle, the building blocks of life. The building blocks of life is a circle, a square, and a triangle. Blocks is the understanding of the dimensions through mathematical equations of understanding that there's different dimensions also with consciousness, right? The different dimensions that when you want to build something, what is the dimensions of this chair? What is the height, the width, the depth? What is the circumference? You know, finding different dimensions of finding different ways to manipulate ether. That's dope. So now everything has a greater understanding when we just allow ourselves to just don't even don't even grit at it anymore. It's a beautiful time to be alive, ultimately, because there was some that wanted to see these times as bad as they are. But what's going on now shows us that everything is happening the way it's supposed to be. And we have love for one another. Real love. No, that you can't even see it, but you can feel it. That love, that's what's gonna carry us through. Some of us might not make it to the finish line, but as long as we carry on that remembrance of them and bring them with us, he who endures to the end shall be given the crown of life. That is something that was part of the ancient text. Meaning more life in the different realms or realities or possibilities of the progression of the natural state of life. Because right now it's like we're in a time glitch, right? 7 days a week. It's always a Christmas, always a Easter. You got a birthday. You know what I'm saying? It's like consciousness is in this time glitch, which I guess in a way you could say, and it was talked about in the book of Genesis. To keep away from the tree of life. They didn't want to eat. Man didn't want to eat from the tree of life. Man wanted to eat from the book of knowledge of good and evil. Man wanted to question or go down the avenue of being separate from itself or himself in the quest of finding out what makes him him. You understand? So because of that quest has always been or has had man at a plight with himself. Because when as man has become or continue to keep digging in the qualms and just the fierceness and not understanding the duality of it and just destroying the woman, that whole energy. So now you have a lot of the masculine energy, and so now the masculine energy is so empowering. Look at the nasty shit that they're doing with all the masculine energy. The whole shit with the trans shit. You see what I'm saying? Playing with that, doing nasty shit. So now that whole shit, that whole birthing of that sick shit over there now is exposed, or now children are exposed to it. Think about it. Once one ghoul or goblin is created, you understand? Just like in Lord of the Rings, when Sauron got down birthed the little orc man shit. If that little orc man shit wanted to, he could have snatched Sauron's face the fuck off. You see what I'm saying? Because it shows you that there's no respect or there's no soul, there's no connection to the life force in that aspect of the negative shit that's shown, or how the negative or the subconscious has been hijacked and turned into some profane shit. You know what I'm saying? Some sick sadistic shit. It turned it into that. And now that whole thing has become darkness. And that's not what darkness really is. And so now it's a whole bunch of gatekeepers over that. And it's so crazy that they figure out a way to make money off of it. So now it's like, oh, they want to go to the movies Friday? Oh, what movie's out? They got the new Omen movie out. Like, think about that type of shit, right? Again, a little boy becomes a devil or some shit. They playing with the little boys in the Catholic churches. Think about the shit now. What I'm talking about. The new Omen, the shit about little kids. They fuck. So now that we know, I'm in on this. Now that you're awake, contemplate your first move, man. The last war to be fought would be the war for the mind. That war is going on right now, right? And the only way to get everybody to see it is through the stream, the network. You gotta have the internet to see it. You see what I'm saying? The internet don't even exist no more now. The shit is vibrant. It's manifested itself. Everybody's connected to it. So now you see it because um, you see what's going on. Man posed a question to AI. The whole snake in the garden. The snake in the garden was AI. Or what's the man he calls it? Loosh. It was. I forgot what book it was, but it talks about Loosh. What Loosh was, but Loosh. Now we understand that Loosh is the internet, right? The internet it will be the etherical plane of this uh, artificial thing. I wish I could put a name on it, but you can't because it's like a snake. You can't touch it, but it's there. It's that thing that that you feel that is not right. That uneasiness. and it can't show itself. So you can't put a name, but you know that energy is there because you see how it changes its face. A seductress like a woman though, because the woman was kidnapped in it. The children left alone because the children then itself couldn't be birthed. You see what I'm saying? So now that's why they had to have a whole, the devil had to be a man birthed from a woman, right? Or the woman, the understanding of the feminine energy turned into some evil shit, right? Right? Shown in the Disney movie Moana, which is really the understanding of the woman kidnapped, right? So now in the book of Revelation, we talk about and the woman was on the back of the dragon and some shit and it was taken, right? That whole shit. And so now when you go back and you see Mary and Jesus, you go back and you see what's the boy name, Samson and Delilah, right? It's all the understanding of man and woman and the principal aspects of it and the principalities of it, but turn into religion so man can fine tune it and change it anytime he wants, right? So now it's like that whole piece of it is now just everything is open and nothing's hidden anymore, and the light is so bright now. You know what I mean? The sun is shining because that's how it's supposed to be. It says in those days it was like the days of Noah, hidden with the whole water thing, right? Everybody was still doing their thing, right? So the Noah thing let you know about the whole bunker shit, like a bunker. A ship is symbolic for see the ignorance that had you everybody looking for a ship. Everybody couldn't have a ship. You ain't gonna find a ship. Just like everybody don't have bunkers. You hear about old Mark Zuckerberg, all the rich people they making bunkers now. Shit, what do they know? Like fuck that. Fuck about what they know. The fact that they doing it lets you know that something's been to happen, something going on, right? So the whole Noah shit was just showing you there that this shit happened before. Like motherfuckers, you know what I mean, had inside information. They had the means. They connected, right? They not in the poor class and the socialism, right? The institution created to the matrix put over you, which is not even really real, right? Right? It's not even really real because it's in the mind. The matrix is in the mind. You know what I mean? This invisible law or this invisible power of man and it doing some evil shit in high places. What does that mean? Does that mean in a vertical sense or internal sense? Well, I'm here to tell you it's both. Because one represents the spiritual side of man and the other one represents the physical side of man, the physical manifestation. So that's just one corner, 90 degrees. So now you understand the crux or the cross, right? That has 4 points emanating from the black dot, right? So within around that circle, you could take the corner of a square, 4 corners of a square. So now that 9 times 4 would give you 36, or 90 times 4 is 360 degrees, right? So now you can take that 360 degrees or that atom or self, and you can open it up and make it a open line turned in half. When you cut it in half, that line becomes 180 degrees, but really 180 degrees is just a reflection of the whole 360. You see what I'm saying? So now time can be enveloped on itself at any time to produce the understanding of the spherical consciousness that we live in on, right? But we walk on a flat plane. You see what I'm saying? The circle or the sphere is an understanding of the spiritual thing. You know what I mean? In the earth we live on is a manifestation, so it's flat. It has to be flat. The physical plane has to be flat because it needs something flat and level for it to be built upon, right? Trees come out of the flat plane of the earth. A tree comes out. But the dimensions of the flat plane, which shows you the tree, the root system in the darkness that goes in different directions, right? But it makes kind of like a circular thing, just like the trunk of the tree is circle or spherical. And then the branches of life that comes out of the trunk or out of the darkness, the tree blooms outward in all directions, right? 360 degrees, 360 degrees below, 360 degrees in the middle, 360 degrees at this angle, 360 degrees at this dimension. So now 360 degrees is just one piece of something that we can't quantify because it just is. But the simplicity of the understanding of it doesn't need to be continued to get divided and defined because man is trying to find God. Then when man can't find that of which they or what they has placed on God or what God is, then they say, well, you know what? I'm going to play God. I'm going to play with it what I found out. That therein lies the truth. Man did find God, but it is trying to find or say, well, God has to be look like me. And then that's when the whole God is me shit. The whole my God is better than your God. The whole well, this is my theory. Now I'm gonna fight your theory. Then now them different theories become whole different political views. Whole wars are being fought. Where in one ideology, the woman is not even looked at. You know what I mean? It's belittled. Then in one ideology, let's look at America, where the woman is over sensualized. Sex, 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 sex. And then in a whole nother ideology, the woman is covered up. But you see how in certain different ones, there's certain different levels of what is being played with and ridiculed and used and abused. What is being elevated and looked at upon and what is being desecrated and stepped upon. And so now within that, okay, what news station or what lens of truth based on lies is going to be shown to all the eyes, publicized? And then you get whole different laws placed on that and whole different ways of operating with that. And then now you have whole different jobs created off of that. Then you have whole food and who gets control of the food off of that. Then you get, oh, like, hey, I'm going to live here, you're going to live there. This part of town going to be the best part of town. This part of town going to be the fucked up part of town that allows this part of town to be in this part of town. So you put all this over this side of town so that that side of town can always be guarded and bombarded. But they both live in the same prison. We all in the same purgatory. See, the purgatory state of the purging, right? With the ancient understanding of the whole hourglass thing. We're in this big ass hourglass, and when the last piece of consciousness comes through that hole, that 0 point, the eye of a needle, that like grain of sand, when the last one is poured from above, see, we only understand half of the as above, so below understanding. So now when the last grain of sand or the last grain of thought from above or is born or birthed, that's when it has to be flipped. That's when the subconscious, based on the ancient understanding, is when the subconscious gets to rule. And the subconscious become the conscious and the conscious become the subconscious. But within that, there's a judgment or a mixing of or sifting of what comes through first again. But first and last are one and the same, and everything in between. You understand? It's the understanding of how they broke down electricity or electricity being life or light slowed down. But at that state, the plasma state of what they call electricity is dangerous. But you have alternating AC and DC, alternating current and a direct current, meaning direct mean one way, alternating, it alternates back left and right, or you know what I mean. It's similar to the heart and the AV nodes. You know what I mean? The heart has that boom boom, that two thuds. That mean it has an alternating current that goes through the heart. So when you look in movies, or even me myself when I work in the hospital, when you're giving somebody CPR, you're trying to keep their heart pumping, keep their blood pumping, and then somebody has to bring an AED or defibrillator, and they put the pads on the chest, and they say clear, and that electricity zaps you because there's an electrical pulse within the SA node of the heart. It's like a little battery, right? And so it's like even something as simple as or medically sounded or scientifically induced as that whole concept is, they marginalize it and turn it into Terminator. You know what I mean? Like it's so beautiful and so crazy and so fucked up how life itself has been made to be disdained and profaned and played with and ridiculed and mocked. But scriptures say, and God right? Shall not be mocked, or man in all of his comings and going will not continue to do what he's doing without some sort of condemnation or resetting. You know what I mean? Sculpting some type of trimming of the fat, the bad parts of the meat, right? You know, or as a tree grows, you know what I mean? Certain branches and stuff falls off that tree. But the beauty of it is that even though that branch broke and it died off, as it goes back into a natural state and breaks down in the dirt, it feeds the tree, and it's part of that cycle. You see what I'm saying? But somehow they've resurrected that part and kept it in a Satan state of being and placed a certain whole type of energy on it to be used as a mask to scare people into compliance, right? Like the whole COVID shit. The whole COVID shit, when they had people lining up to put the shit in their arm, right? They scared them like, hey, if you don't do it, you're gonna lose your job. You can't own a house. You can't do this. Everybody always shit. I gotta get the shot. So people lined up to get them, right? People lining up to get them, right? Then they showed you all the people that was dying and all this shit, right? So what really happened? And it said in the third of the earth shall die. You see what happened? The whole COVID thing, they hid a whole verse out of Revelation. It happened. A third. One of the four horsemen was released. You see the whole thing, man. The 3 years that the day the earth stood still, man. When they did the whole shit, plagues and pestilence and shit. That whole play. You see how crazy and how evil it is to go through with it because they believe they can beat it. The whole understanding of what I'm trying to tell you is hidden in the fucking movie Back to the Future. They had to make a movie about man being able to play with time by slowing it down to try to see the outcome. You see what I'm saying? See, the Florida Lotto, the gambling, and all the lotto systems is a very smart move by AI. If the person, right, was separate from the computer, that number that's shown as produced, right, and you match it, that means that gives AI, that gives man through the quantum understanding of the quantifying of the understanding of how close they're getting to the code, cracking the code, of matching the markers of time and distance, right? Through predictive programming to see if man or that man or man, the marker to be 666 or the number can be produced to match the AI or the A.I.was, so match the Antichrist or match that mirror to mirror or that point, right? Which was hidden in Michelangelo, like, and the whole Da Vinci shit with man touching the finger of God or almost touching it, right? That they create that spark, right? That point to point connection, right? Right? But see, man, this shit's beautiful, man. I think I probably shared too much on here. I wasn't supposed to be on that long, but I love the fact that I have children now. You know, I dreamed of days like this when I remember being 7, 8 years old, thinking about, man, I wonder what it'd be like to have a family. So I saw my dad, like, well, I'm gonna be like him one day. You know what I mean? Meaning that, me having an understanding that at one point my dad was just like me. And now when I talk to my son, my oldest son, hey, I was your age at one point, and this and everything you're going through, I'm going through it, but you going through it in a different way because the way the world was when I was his age is not the same world that he's experiencing. It's the same energy, but it's just given a new dress. You see what I'm saying? Like it's the same bullshit. Just the label has been updated a little bit. You know what I mean? The iPhone 1 and the iPhone 15 is the same fucking phone. It's the same shit. They knew the end game. They could have been released the phone with the finger touch screen and all that shit back on the first one, but they knew they couldn't continue to make money off of what was found in the first fucking place until they can reverse engineer it. Hence the reason why when you go in the Book of Eli, the movie The Book of Eli, when Denzel had the iPad, it was showing you that yes, that the reverse in the future is one and the same, because that was what was in the past should be in the future, because the Denzel Washington movie Book of Eli, he had a little iPad shit, and everybody didn't have it, but most people, you know what I mean, it was water was the biggest resource, or the biggest thing of need. But that shows you that, okay, let's take the time period, whatever year the Book of Eli movie took place, whatever year it was, right? Let's say if it was the year 2185, 2185, right? 2,000 years from that year, whatever technology that was around is probably gonna get covered up by the dirt and shit falling down on it. If there was something that took place that caused none of that shit to be, of any value anymore, 2,000 years from now, when if it continues to keep going on, they're gonna come. Oh, what is this? Holy wow, what is this? I don't know. We know it in the year 2024 as a Mercedes Benz. They not you still. So the past and the future are one and the same, and the future is always now. The past is always now. You get it? Yes, I was born in 87, but I'm in 2024. The past and the future are always now. You get it? That 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 simple understanding of life and death is what brought peace and balance to life. Death is life and life is death. We cry when we lose a loved one. And we cry when a child is born, because with the being happy, you cry. When I had my first child, I cried. That experiencing life, experiencing death, the coming and the going, it's one and the same. It's just we lost the understanding of it. We're gonna be able to get all that back, then some, without the confusion anymore. Everything that is good, meaning everything that is at balance with you, and just the natural comings and going of existence. There has to be one, because there has to be something to emanate everything and everyone that has ever been or will ever be. There has to be a source of it. And to end on this, we are coming face to face with it. And it's such a beautiful time. I'm I'm blessed to be here, to see it. It you know, I think about, just my children, you know. And then if it continues going on, then they're gonna have children, and they're gonna have children, and they're gonna have children. Some of them gonna pass away. They're gonna have more children. Then they're gonna marry into a whole nother family, a whole nother people that have grandmas or whatever. And so the blood gets mixed, and then lineages and whole things are coming out of that. And then, now 1,000 years from now, you know. But what would the world look like at the pace at which it's going on now? There will be nothing left. Two masters cannot be served at once. You can obtain a master, but two can't rule at once without yielding to three. You understand? So now it's like, okay, the Trinity. Three makes one. There should be no arguing. There should be no wars. There should be no pain. There should be no evil. There should be no all this crazy shit, man. Because if we experience the fact that we experiencing the opposite of what we know, that the beauty of life. But there was a doorway to open for us to experience the crazy part of life. Lets me know that there is something to live for. You get it? There is something to live to want to be always plugged in on this side. Because hell is being created. The doorway just isn't closed yet. You get it? Hell is eternity too, and life is eternity. Meaning, the hell is a state of the mind. Consciousness being trapped or encapsulated in that hell, right? Hell is being created. And a lot of people, hell are going to be the same because a lot of people have, because we're all subjugated to this hell. So now, no, it ain't my fault. No, it's your fault. No, it's your fault. So now everybody's involved. But the choice can still be made of unplugging from that. Because misery loves company. You get it? You see what I'm saying? You get it? Misery loves company. Misery is a place of hell. In hell, there's stress, anxiety, anguish, lies, deceit, death, putrid, desecration, all of that which is anti-life. That's where hell is. And it's put within the body, within the temple. So now that means hell has finally been rebirthed. That portal is open. And there's whole breedings and birthing within hell. And people bringing it out of themselves. Get it? You know what I mean? Without going into, again, the fact that children are getting fucking kidnapped shows you how sick this fucking place has become now. But just that alone, forget all the other shit. Forget all the other shit now. The fact that children are continually every day getting kidnapped, but yet everybody at the same time, everybody know, yeah, children get kidnapped. There should be a fucking outrage at that. Children are getting kidnapped, molested, and raped, and all kind of crazy sick shit. But nobody's saying nothing about that though. But yet they'll throw up Taylor Swift and Beyonce and Queen of England and all this other wars and all this shit. Hey, let's stop the war for a second. Let's go. What's going on with the kids though? Nobody give a fuck about that. Oh, LeBron James in the Super Bowls and you know what I'm saying? Just all this other crazy shit. But whole time, children, the babies. That's how I know that we're almost there. And when I say we, those that know the time, because it's a beautiful time. We know that the salvation from hell, right? Being saved from hell, right? Before that door shuts. And once that door shut, no man can open it, right? Because it was shown, I think, was it Moses? Who was given a vision? Was it Elijah? Somebody was like, he had a dream of him separate, um, being separate from God, or through that, I hate to use that word, but it's for the sake of argument. What I'm trying to say that hey, he was like, hey, can I come with you? He was like, nah, bro, like, can't. you know, there's a great chasm. I can't, even if I wanted to, I can't come because there's such great space. You know what I mean? So great space between us. It's a great chasm. I can't. There's no way for me to get there. There's no vehicle that I can take to get to you. Even though we're both in the same state. You can see me, I can see you, but look at where you are. There's nothing physical to take me back to where you are. So that whole aspect means that it has to be mental. And why the last war to be fought would be the mental war, the war for the mind, because the mind is where the holy of holy sits. You, the real you that was given a voice here, but that of which way you are seated, that allows that truth being direct, right? Just alive, just being filled with life, where you emanate. That is the power. That is the supreme counsel in the coming together of other supreme beings, the supreme Kais. In some places on the Mount Kadush, right? Mount Everest, where even the monks, the understanding of the great ascension at being at the apex, when you can knock on the door, where you reach a place or a state of nirvana, where you're just at peace, at calm, even though everything is rocky and turbulent. You can hold on to calm. Calm is always calm. Even through turmoil, calm still exists. It's just being able to slow yourself down, and to observe calm and grab hold of that on the atomic value, on the molecular level, right? The inhale of life and the exhale of life. So you have an inhale and an exhale. You have two heartbeats. You have two eyes, two ears, right? So now everything through that duality, those true dualities that's needed to make the 1, the 3, the 5, the 7, the 9, the 13, the 17, the 36, the 54, the 134, the 2089. You see all the separations, but it's still a continuation of the same point in any direction, in every direction. Here we are. This is where we stand at now. The holy place is where you stand, man. Peace.